It's Packer time on YouTube. Officially, now that we're on and our show's on, it's Hafeman Bros with special guest tonight's Bruce. Special guest joining us. Thank you, Bruce, for coming on and being here. We appreciate it. How you doing?
I am well. I'm very good.
Good. It's nice to see you. We know that you have a lot of things to talk about, and we want to get your take from the first 2 weeks because we haven't talked to you yet in a while here in the show. So why don't we just kick it off with that and find out, Bruce, what do you think so far of the Packers in the first two games?
Well, I'll be honest. I didn't watch the first game. I wasn't able to.
Oh,
I was.
You didn't miss anything good. I can tell you that.
Exactly. Yeah.
probably better.
I was.
You saved yourself some frustration and whatnot.
I was actually running a golf tournament for my son's golf team for a fundraiser. So, and it was a beautiful day, and it was, we raised a good amount of funds, so it was good. But from what I've seen, what I saw last week, and then from some of the highlights and the film that I watched from the first game, and I'm not saying anything that you guys probably don't know, but obviously the weakness of this football team are two areas. One is defense, obviously, a pressure on the quarterback, and obviously stopping the run. And that's not changed from last year. I mean, everything looks very, very similar in that area. And then the other team, or the other side of it, is special teams, in my opinion. Those are the two weaknesses. They were weaknesses last year in the playoffs. They reared their ugly head in the playoffs. And that's the reason, or big part of the reason why we lost the NFC title game 2 years in a row, is because of those issues. The good thing that I think happened last week is, one, LaFleur learned a little bit. He learned that this offense runs through Aaron Jones. No doubt about it. You've got to get that guy 15 touches minimum in a game. I mean, it doesn't have to be running the football, It can be, okay, Ben's saying 20, but and I'm not disagreeing with that. I just threw the number 15, right? Because that tends to be kind of the number, with a lot of running backs and stuff like that. But you at least got to get him 10 to 12 runs minimum and like 4 or 5 passes, out of the backfield. That's what you have to do. And if you don't do that, we see what happens in week one. If you don't get him going and you don't stick with the run, I'm sorry, but as good as Aaron is, he's not young anymore, and he can't carry a team on his back all the time. Can he do it? Yeah, he can do it once in a while. But I mean, the other thing you got to think about is we don't have the receivers where we can just pass the ball all day long either, and we can talk about that later maybe, because I have some things I'd like to discuss on that if we have time, on the receiver side of things. But that's what I've seen so far. I mean, ultimately, offensive line has been it's been okay. Obviously, Bakhtiari's injured, but it's done a decent job in pass protection. Didn't do anything against the run at all in the first game, or with the run. And then last week they did a better job against the run. And I think that part of the reason is, and I said this, before the season started, I wanted Runyon at left guard, and I wanted Patrick at right guard. And I still think, and I stand by that Runyon is a better left guard, and we should keep him there, and he played well last game. And now I think Patrick needs to go back to right guard, and Newman needs to be backup. That is my opinion, and I'm going to stick to that because I really believe that's the best offensive line internally, or inside. Obviously, outside.
Can I ask you a question? Where did you want Billy Turner in that equation?
Billy Turner can be on the bench as far as I'm concerned, but I'd rather put Kelly at right tackle, to be honest with you.
Or Yashi. Yashi might play this week.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Actually, you could actually put him at that spot too, but
yeah, but Yashi might be at left tackle.
Well, he might.
I know.
He might, yeah, because Jenkins sounds like he's probably not going to play, but yeah, I mean, obviously, I could see Turner being at left tackle, though. I could totally say it.
Oh, don't say it ain't
well,
so.
I mean, he's played there before. I could see LaFleur thinking, let's put him back there, and because he's got some experience, and then we'll put Kelly at right tackle. I could totally see that happening.
Well, Nick Bosa is going to have a good game no matter who's at left tackle.
Somehow we have to diffuse him, with some of the plays. Maybe we run away from him, move Rodgers away from him, whatever we got to do in order to, a running back chipping on him or a tight end chipping on him, something. I mean, because you're right, Ben. He's going to get his sacks or his pressures.
It's going to be tough, man. Especially with all these guys, hurting on the offensive line. It's like we got scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub. Like our whole offensive line is going to be scrubalicious.
Rick's here.
Kind of scary.
Rick's here. Bernard's here. Rick retracted a statement though. I don't know what happened there. He must have put maybe he had an accidental swear in there. Ekis is here too. Holy moly. How's it going? Sitting in his driveway with a fire. Listening to you and the Brewers. Wow, there you go, Ekis.
Oh,
thanks for
Bernard says this game scares him.
Why did the game, Bernard? You are the most scared person. I don't know.
Well, he's got to. I mean,
wow, this one actually probably
49ers in California. I mean, it's not like it's not a good track record there over the last couple of years. But I actually have a hot take on what I think the score is going to be. But that's just me. We'll save that for the end.
All right, let me give you a quick thing.
Let's get us into some sort of organization here. We got Bruce has got some good takes on the first couple games. So now tonight
Bruce had a hot take. He had a hot take. The hot take was a
Runyon Bunyan and Lucas Patrick are better than Royce Newman. That's not a hot take. Everybody knows this. Except for the Packers coaches who don't know that.
Flaming hot take was that the offensive line has been decent in the first two games. That is rubbish, Bruce. This offensive line has not been decent. They have been really, 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 really bad. Turner's been Billy Turner. Newman's getting schooled left and right.
On the 52-yard pass to Devontae Adams, Royce Newman, his guy did not get past the line of scrimmage.
Shocking.
And Aaron Rodgers had a clean pocket to throw that deep bomb. So, I mean, as bad as you think they were, that was not a bad. He had some good pocket on that play.
Agreed. And honestly, I'm not saying they played wonderful. I'm not.
I know. I'm just.
But at the same time, Rodgers has had time in certain instances. Now, has he been pressured quite a bit too? Yeah. And have we run the ball very well? At least in the first game, no. We ran the ball a lot better in the second game, but it was only like averaging 3.8 yards a carry or something like that.
Well, the run blocking wasn't good. It was the running backs who made the plays.
Well, there you go.
Turn into something.
Yeah.
I just have real concerns about this line, pretty much all the way across. And I think Jenkins playing a tackle isn't as good, and
he probably won't be there this week. So
now he's not going to be there. So we'll see how it goes.
Look, if his ankle's better, but
they have to come up with a game plan where they're going to get rid of the ball quick and they're going to establish a run. And if they're going to try any deeper passes, it's going to have to be off play action. So you create a little bit more time. So you slow down the rush just a little bit. And they're going to have to find ways to double. They're going to have to find ways to chip. They're going to have to find ways to slow down Bosa because I don't care who's playing against them. They're going to get schooled time and time again. Maybe it'll be Royce Newman. I don't know. Maybe they'll stick Royce Newman out at left tackle this week. Who the hell knows? But the offensive line really scares me. The defensive line scares me. And I don't know. Yikes. I'm scared too, Bernard. I'm scared too.
Rick's got some hot takes here. You better read them.
All right, let's get to some chatter, and then we'll run into a couple things. All right. Rick says, I think this team lacks identity across the board. Are they rebuilding or not? Is hurting them now. Is it AR's locker room or the coaches? Who are the young guys looking to? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the leadership thing is kind of scary. You got Devontae as a captain who is clearly disgruntled and mad and unhappy that he didn't get paid big money. And you got Big Dog, who's a captain. I mean, and he's kind of on the field and sort of produces, but sort of doesn't really do that much. And then the other guy is Rodgers, and Rodgers is kind of pissed off too. So I don't know. It's a little scary on that front as well. So, and you need one thing I think Rodgers had this bond with certain offensive linemen over the years that those guys will kind of help loosen them up, joke around with them a little bit, lighten them up a little bit at times. Like Bakhtiari's great at that. Lindsley was great at that. TJ Lang back in the day, those guys always did something for him.
But those guys aren't on the field right now.
Right. Right. None of those guys are there. And he's working with a whole bunch of new guys. And I don't know.
Lukey Patrick is a pretty serious business guy when he's out there because he
That's
knows
true.
I have to be 100% paying attention because my athletic ability is not the same as everybody else's. My skill level is not the same as everybody else's. So he can't be loose and goosey on the field. He's got to be, okay, concentration, get my job done.
Right.
And that's what a lot of these other young guys are doing, concentration, get the job done. So, I mean, is it fun?
I don't think they're having a lot of fun.
It was weird to me because even watching the game, there was one play where Aaron Jones had, I think it was like a 9-yard run for first down or something like that. And he got up and he just went. And the announcers were like, Aaron Jones is fired up. And I'm like, he barely did any. Like that's not, I've seen Aaron Jones way more fired up than that. And then you watch Jamal Williams on the other side who got, because it was a first down, he was all doing crazy stuff, right? That's fired up. Like as much as Jamal Williams, I hated seeing him on the field because I knew Aaron Jones wasn't. He at least got the guys going. And I don't think there's even Aaron Jones is not a get the guys going kind of guy. He's still a quiet guy. Who on this team is, Tunyon's the only guy. When Tunyon makes a play, he gets up and he goes nuts and he's like, let's go, and goes crazy. So let's get the ball to Tunyon a little more early to get the guys fired up. I think that was a big difference in, I think that was the difference in the second half. After that touchdown catch, and Tunyon went nuts, like going like, let's go. And then all of a sudden, like everybody's like, yeah, all right, the pack is back. Let's go. But prior to that, it was like check down city, barely getting by, long drive, make sure that Jamie Collins is covering Aaron Jones because he's super slow and doesn't care, I guess. That's why the Lions are trying to trade him or whatever. Okay, but there's no fired up guy, and that's part of the team. That's part of the thing. Like, you can't, if you're not having fun out there, like, it's just kind of weird, I don't know, but that's just what I noticed.
I will say this. I
thought that was a weird, thing.
I didn't have a lot of fun playing football on offense.
Really?
Yeah, I really
Yeah,
did.
but it was the Matt Carmody show. How can you have fun when every game is the Matt Carmody show? The guy gets 40 carries and you get one catch. You block for the guy 40 times and then you get one catch. I wouldn't have fun either.
I didn't care. No. I enjoyed blocking. I'm just saying, like, in the process of playing, like, I was never let's fun, happy fun guy on the field or all this sort of stuff. Like, I was really focused on my job. And then if other guys were screwing up, I like yell at them a little bit real quick, but not a lot.
Yeah, but you were a 180-pound defensive end.
That doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like there are
you
guys.
You were a tiny little guy getting your butt kicked by big, huge guys.
I know, but there are guys that
concentrate.
There are guys. Well, I will say I did laugh the one time that Casey Roebuck like trap blocked my friend and like actually launched him into me and knocked us both over. That was pretty. I mean, I did laugh at that because I was like, "Holy crap! I can't believe that just happened." But yeah, then he went to the NFL and played and stuff. Anyway, that's besides the point. I'm just saying there are like serious guys on the field sometimes, and that's fine. But it does not look like this team's having a lot of fun. It feels like they're playing, they're trying to execute well. If they execute well, they're satisfied, but they're not really having fun. A couple more quick comments, and I got to turn over to Bruce here for something. Rick just thinks there's too many people resting on their laurels, not the coaches, the players, management. They need to define who they are now. I agree in terms of defining who they are now because I don't understand. I think part of not having the identity on offense for sure is all the shakeup with the offensive line and they never decided what they were doing and they kept. No? Oh, okay.
Wrong.
All right.
You know what the problem with the identity of the offense is?
Sure.
I'll give you a hint. It's called 2 words. Diva.
Oh, Jesus.
That's right. That's the problem with the identity of the offense.
All right, this is
Matt LaFleur wants the Matt LaFleur offense. The Diva Baby wants the Diva Baby offense. That is the problem. Week 1 was Diva Baby offense. Was there a lot of movement? No. Was there getting the ball to Aaron Jones? No. Was there a bunch of dumb, stupid crap, getting sacked and doing dumb crap and looking for not getting the ball out on time? Yes. That's called Diva Baby. What's those game 2? Get the ball out quick. Get the ball to Aaron Jones. 2 tight end screens. Then what happens in the second half? Boom. Diva Baby takes some shots because you got to be happy. Got to take the big shot. Got to make the big throw. Look like a cool guy. Okay, well, before that, they're moving the ball just fine with the Matt LaFleur offense. That is the idea of the identity of winning is the Matt LaFleur identity. But Diva Baby's got to have his little, I got to look cool. I got to be the Diva Baby, throw 40-yard touchdowns and look like a madman. No. For you to look that good, you got to first establish the Matt LaFleur stuff. Then you can take your shot and do your Diva Baby crap. But that's the identity problem. Diva Baby wants Diva Baby 24/7. And he needs to only have it every now and again. Run the LaFleur identity and then Diva Baby off of it. What do you think about that, Bruce?
I am going to disagree with you to a certain extent.
You're wrong!
And the reason why is this. If you look back at the first game, okay,
Diva Baby.
Honestly, you look at what LaFleur had out there. You had 4 wides. You had no running back. Sometimes you had shotgun. It was back to McCarthy offense, and that's not. No, that's not Aaron Rodgers. Now. That's not Aaron Rodgers.
Wait a minute, because at the end of McCarthy's career, I don't know if you remember, there was a certain assistant defensive coach. I can't remember what his name was. He was the guy who always got
Bernard wants you to stop, but that's fine.
No, Bernard, goddammit. Listen to me. This is the truth. He said Aaron Rodgers pretty much ran the offense. He was a coach at the end of McCarthy because McCarthy was getting back rubs. He was sneaking up to the office.
Aww,
that is it's Rodgers who wants
he was getting older.
Backfield. It's Rodgers who wants the
McCarthy was getting
all
older.
the wide receivers out there and nobody to help block.
Yeah, but Matt, come on, let's be honest. LaFleur didn't even run the ball in the first game. I mean,
they were down by 1 million.
Oh, come on. They weren't down that far.
Look,
they were down 17-0. That's not
teams,
far. That's
right.
Not, in the NFL, that's 2 scores.
That's a great point, Bruce. But look what all the teams do that. Like there was I think it was last week. Oh, yeah. A couple games last week where teams were down maybe 10 points and all of a sudden they just felt like they had to pass every play. It doesn't make any sense. Like I don't understand these offensive coordinators in these teams. If you're down even 2 scores and you're in the third quarter, it doesn't mean you can't run the ball.
Yeah,
you need a good
do that.
You need a good productive drive.
Tennessee Titans. And what happened with the Titans?
Well,
Henry had 180 or 140 some yards rushing in the second half and overtime, and they won because they didn't stop running the ball, even though they were down by double digits.
Well, and then when you have Aaron Jones who can break it at any time,
you can do that.
You have to keep feeding them. I mean, it's different if you're down, in the fourth quarter by 4 scores or something. Come on, then you got to pass the ball. But the first game, it's not like we were down by a lot the whole game. We really weren't down by that much. We could have started running the football and establishing something. Mainly in the first game, the defense didn't get off the field. We never got any rhythm. So I blame the defense for the first half of that game. They were horrible. They sucked. It was pathetic. But the second half, we could have tried to establish something and get something going a little bit on the ground to keep that defense off the field and maybe get some rhythm going. And I think we did that a little bit until Aaron Rodgers threw the pick. But I think we did that a little bit. And that's where LaFleur has to commit to the running game and use Aaron Jones. And I think he needs to use Dillon a little bit more too. Sure. That's just my opinion. But
I think Dillon needs a little better offensive line run blocking help on his plays. Yeah. And this offensive line is not good at run blocking. So I love Dillon. I think he can be awesome. But it's not like he's got Corey Linsley and Lukey Patrick in front of him and Elton Jenkins are his 3 guards. He's got Royce Newman and Myers and whoever. And it's like, it's not the same run blocking team. And there's no holes there for A.J. Dillon. He's got all of his runs the last game, he kind of just plowed into dudes and just got like 4 yards because he ran over a bunch of dudes. And that was there's no hole there.
Yeah, but Jones can make it work with this offensive line. Dillon needs a little more space. I think that's clear. Bruce, it's an interesting point that you're just raising and you're kind of getting to is that part of the reason why you need to work the offense and have sustained drives and whatever is because you do need to keep the defense off the field, your own defense off the field. The Packers do because it is a huge weakness. And so they have to play that way. But the status of their offensive line also dictates that they should play that way. Quick passes, like Ekis was saying before, commit to the run. You could do some play action. Maybe you can loosen up the defense and take some shots later. Fine. But you got to be patient. You got to play a quick pass game. You got to do running. That's the way you got to play offense for 1, because of your own limitations on the O-line. And 2, because you want to keep your defense off the field. because they stink. So those are all facts. The team and the coaches and everyone should understand that. Aaron Rodgers should be smart enough to understand that and realize that's what's best for winning for this
that's
team.
the thing.
Right?
Eckes is saying that I want Rodgers gone. I don't want Rodgers gone. I want Rodgers to run the LaFleur offense. That's the identity issue. It's not that Rodgers isn't good. Rodgers is awesome, and he always has been awesome. But his biggest issue is that he wants to. I still go back to the Mike Tirico interview from a couple years ago. When Mike Tirico's like, hey, guess what, man? With this new defense, because back then they thought they had a good defense, 2019, at the beginning of the year. And Mike Tirico said, hey, Aaron Rodgers, what's it like having a good defense? You don't have to make all the Houdini plays. And Rodgers is like, I like making the Houdini plays. That was his response. Rodgers wants to look cool. He wants to be the superstar, cool diva baby. That's what he wants. But to win a Super Bowl and to win with this team, you got to run the LaFleur offense and then do the cool shots once or twice a game. And you can't miss a wide open MVS on deep shots twice like he did, or a wide open MVS on a freaking 2-yard slant for a touchdown. Luckily, we got Aaron Jones with a touchdown right after that. Thank you, Aaron Jones, and Ed Rodgers for that matter. But I just want to clear. I'm not saying we don't want Rodgers on the team. That seems like Eckes seems to think I want Rodgers gone. I don't want Rodgers gone. I want Rodgers to play, like Balaz said, a modern quarterback. In the comments he left earlier in the week, he said Rodgers looks like he got coached up or trained to look like a modern quarterback because he's getting the ball out on time. But he can still make his awesome plays. That's great.
You're complaining about those misses on MVS. He had 5 incompletions, Ben. Anyway, beside the point,
he was throwing 2-yard passes to Aaron Jones and 2 screen passes to Robert Tonyan. It ain't like it was freaking rocket science. You could have put Jordan Love in there, and he could have done the same dang crap, except for 2 throws that he actually hit. Those 2 throws, I don't think that Jordan Love would have had. But you know what? Jordan Love probably would have had one of those 2 MVSs.
Actually, Rock. I don't know about that.
I think he would.
Actually, Rock did a review of the Tonyan touchdown pass, and seeing the all 22 on that, the better angle is like totally insane. Like the pass to Tonyan, that was insane.
There is no it shouldn't have happened.
No, it's like, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy as hell. Go back and watch Rock Reports, his most recent Rock Report. It's totally crazy. Bruce, did you notice? So Bernard says the D is trash. They are. Joe Barry has to go. He's already calling for Joe Barry to be gone. We know that's not going to happen, but do you notice? I mean, does it look any different to you at all?
No, it really doesn't. The only thing is, Barry's a little more energetic than Penn.
Yeah,
that's about it. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to think here. I mean, I guess Campbell's a better linebacker. I mean, I'll give him that. I kind of like him so far. I think he's better in coverage. He's not wonderful, but he's better in coverage. And at least he's aggressive and he can get to the ball at times and knows where the ball is. He's definitely better than the linebackers we've had the last year or two. So I would say that's different. The other thing that maybe, that should be different is Kevin King should be off the field. I mean, Stokes obviously played better than King last week. I thought he played as well as he could have for a rookie. I mean, he's going to make rookie mistakes. I mean, he's going to. That's just the way it is. But ultimately, you gotta go with it. I mean, he's a first-round pick. You picked him for a reason. King was a big part of the reason we lost the NFC title game last year, and he started the same damn way. Excuse my language. Sorry, YouTube.
You're okay.
And he started the same way in the first game. And again, a big part of the reason why we were down right away, 17-0. So, I don't even like him in the slot. Honestly, I think Shannon Sullivan should be in the slot. But, I mean, I'm assuming that he'll probably be in the slot sometimes this week, again. But let's hope that at least Stokes is on the outside and keep Alexander on the outside too, because I don't think Alexander is as good on the slot as he is on the outside as well. So, but did I go off on a tangent there a little bit? Sorry.
No, we're good because I agree with everything you just said. The other thing that's very key is that broken coverage touchdown that Jared Goff threw, where It looked like Stokes was wrong because he left the guy, they didn't switch on it looked like they were playing like a zone and they didn't switch. Well, apparently in the defense on that coverage, anytime it's not in the goal line or in the red zone, then they're supposed to not switch. Or they're supposed to switch. Or no, not switch. They're supposed to just play back in the zone. And if there's a combo route, like a pick route, they just stay back and let the guy do it. But if they're in the red zone on that particular call, they are supposed to switch. So Kevin King is the one who screwed up and left the guy wide open, not Eric Stokes. Even though it looks like Eric Stokes is the one who screwed up, because then he's the guy trailing and run over there going like, "Wah!" And then he was like, "What the heck happened?" Well, Eric Stokes knew what the coverage was based on where his assignment was. Kevin King, who's now playing in the slot, did not know. But here's my other question. Why do you have a call where when you make that call, it's different in the red zone than it is in a normal freaking part of the field? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. How about if you just make it a totally different thing? Like call a totally different thing. You know what I mean? Like make it a red zone name. If it's called Tiger Ball Snatcher, make it Lion Ball Snatcher. I don't care. So that the guys know, hey, now we got to switch. It's like a man call instead of a zone call. I don't get that. That's dumb to me. Like that just leads to confusion.
Yeah.
I'm even confused. And I don't know what, no, it's easy to confuse me, but I'm just saying, why? Why has that happened? So that's kind of dumb that the same exact technical call, whatever it's called, Tiger Ball Snatch, it's zone everywhere else, but I guess when you're in the red zone, it's man.
I even got a sign for that, Ben. Tiger Ball Snatcher.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's a defensive call. That's what I would call it.
Hey, I was cracking up because Double Doink says that King seems the same, and then Bernard right away says King needs to stay. I love King, he says.
Bernard, what are you doing, man?
Zero's in the house too. Zero, how you doing?
Zero actually makes a very good point. He's backing me up.
Bringing in young quarterback, easy to teach than an old vet. I get it. Hey, since Zero's on here, I got to do a quick screen share because
number one in our league now. God,
well, let's just take a look.
The snot out of me.
Let's just take a sneak peek for a quick Hafeman Fantasy Football update.
Then I know I'm 0-2. That's for sure.
Here it is, Hafeman Bros Fantasy Football right here. Wow, you're going to be 0-3. Look at this. You're playing me this week. Woo!
Yeah, I got 1 point. Wow, that's awesome.
Agents of Chaos 2-0, right behind Bucks and 6. Somehow, this lucky duck.
Corey, how did he beat you?
I don't know. I had a terrible week. Look at Corey. Is he like almost last in points? Yeah, he's like bottom.
No, me and Mom are the worst. I'm barely ahead of Mom. And Mom drafted all Packers. I love you, Mom, but you drafted all Packers.
We do love Mom. Anyway,
look at Eckes is waiting in the weeds. He's waiting in the weeds, baby.
Yep. Turtlehead. He's down there. Yeah. I always hover around the middle. That's what always happens to me in fantasy.
I always stay near the bottom.
Here's where we are. Ben's a foundational guy. He's like the foundation of a fantasy football league. He supports everybody else. So there you go. Here are the standings. Long tooth decay had a big first week and then lost, and this is the way, doing okay. Lots of us 1-1 hanging in there. We got a couple of 0-2ers, and Ben's probably going 0-3 this week. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, probably. Unless Justin Herbert goes crazy.
Zero's doing great. Congrats on that, Zero. Nice work. And thanks for being in the league. Yeah, Cooper Kupp. He says Cooper Kupp is his hidden gem. I have to say, I didn't expect that much out of Cooper Kupp, but he is doing quite well. He's tearing it up. Now, Bruce, speaking of fantasy football, I understand you never a fantasy football guy. You didn't want to play. But, the one thing that I keep coming back to with fantasy football with you, how often that you want to like cut everybody. In fantasy football, you could do that. You could draft like a whole team, and if they stink, you could just cut them all just like that. Yeah. So you could.
It's a very good point.
You could exercise what you'd like to do as the GM of the Packers with your own team.
Yeah, you could just draft all the Packers that you wish you could cut, and then just cut them all and just feel good for like a day. Be like, if I was just GM, I'd just cut them all.
That's a very good point. I'll have to think about it now.
All right, I'll bring us back in here. Okay, so
I don't mind losing. I just play because it's fun. Whatever.
Yeah. I I've gotten used to losing in fantasy, so it's like okay.
As
Actually,
long
I've
as
just
there's
kind
not
of
money involved. If there's money involved, then I get a little upset.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That one year, man, that one year I made you pay like what was it, $20 to get in. You're so stingy. You're so cheap. You know.
Hey, I don't have a lot of money.
Oh, okay, that's fair. All right, heading back to a couple other things here. Oh yeah, Ben. Yeah, Akis giving you crap for drafting all your defenses.
That was the other league. This stupid league, Jason doesn't even have defenses. He's
That's
got
right.
dumb defensive players, which are even harder to figure out.
I was
stupider. It's
I did that
dumb and
purposely
stupid.
to try to protect you from yourself, so you couldn't draft 3 defenses by
All I know is,
round
Ekis,
11
have you
or
looked
10.
at my defensive points per game on the other league? I'm number 1 in points per game by your defense because I start the defense that's playing the crappiest offense. It's called Genius Number 1. Ekis, maybe you should figure that crap out one of these days. Hey,
All right, Ben, your mic's a little hot when you're yelling, so I don't know if you want to back up or I'm not sure what's. Maybe I got you a bad mic. Maybe I got
I just
you
turned
bad.
it down.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right, Bruce, I wanted to ask you a couple quick things now about. I don't know. I'm curious about your take on the defensive line for the Packers. To me, it's like one of the biggest, scariest parts. I don't know. Through 2 games, it just doesn't look very good.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I think Preston's probably paid the best of anyone the last couple of weeks. I know Pro Football Focus has, I think Clark ranks 7th or something in defensive tackles for the first 2 games. I think that's true because of his second half last week. Supposedly, he had a really good second half last week. I don't know, but I can't really agree with that in my opinion. I think he's been. For the money he's making, he's average. I mean, that we need him to be above average. And he's not. I mean, it tells you something when the defensive line has not caused a tackle for a loss. Where's Clark been? I mean, obviously he hasn't, gotten in the backfield and caused any disruption. So to me, that's a problem. And then you have Kiki that hasn't, taken that next jump. That's a problem. Gary at this point, I don't know, man. He might be what he is.
Number 12 pick, Bruce.
That's the problem that I have with it. I mean, if he would have been a second rounder or something like that, okay, maybe that's not a horrible pick. But 12th overall. I mean, he's got to take that jump, and he's got to be in double digits, sack wise every year. I think he can do some good things, but again, he's not where he needs to be either. And Lancaster and Lowry they're just a mess. I don't even know why they're in there, to be honest.
I think it's Jack Heflin time. Let's give him a shot.
Yeah, and Slayton, to be honest with you. I think those 2 guys deserve a shot. And
it can't be worse.
No, they can absolutely not be worse. So I agree with you, Jason. It's a big problem, and we'll find out how much heart and what they've got in them this week, because Shanahan's going to run the ball 40 times. I would not be surprised one bit if he ran it 40 times. So,
yeah, it could be scary. And that also slows down the game, keeps the offense out of rhythm, keeps the offense off the field. And if you can't stop them, if you can't stop the run, it's the same old tired thing we've seen. I don't know. Hopefully Barry will try to adjust if they're having trouble with that quicker than Pettin ever tried to adjust. But I don't know. We'll see. That one just scares me, man. And Kenny Clark when he signed that huge contract, it was just kind of that same trap that the Packers have fallen into a few times when they draft a first round guy at a position of need or whatever. And they're like, wow, we really struggle to find good guys this position. This guy's pretty good. So let's lock him down and pay him like a whole bunch of money. And that's what they did. Nick Perry. Yeah. Other guys.
Hey, Ben, can I ask your opinion on something?
I got a lot of opinions.
This is what I would do if I was Barry this week, and you tell me if you agree or if you think I'm way off base. I'd play in the box all day long, and I would put Alexander on Samuel all the time. He'd follow him everywhere, and then I would put Savage on Kittle all the time. Now, granted, maybe it's not Savage, but
it's not Savage.
But that's what I would do, and then I would blitz whenever I could as well. But I would make what's his name, Garoppolo, beat you. That's what I would do.
I like that idea. I think we should get into some 49er stuff. I actually went back and I watched both 49er games from earlier in the year. So I watched the 49ers Lions game. I watched the 49ers Eagles game. And as far as the 49ers offense goes, it was not impressive. Okay. They had a huge lead against the Lions, but there was a turnover, like a pick six that Jared Goff threw after a while. And some other stuff happened in there would make it look worse than what it was. And in the Eagles game, the 49ers punted. Like, it was like the battle of the punters in that game. It was like the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Now, I don't know if the Eagles have the greatest defense in the history of all time or what, but with Raheem Mostert hurt, they had this number 25, what the heck is his name? Mitchell or something, running back. He's not that fast. Okay. He had a couple big runs because the hole was ginormous, but otherwise he's not that great. Jimmy Garoppolo, if you get him off his spot, he's not accurate at all. He's like god awful, terrible. So I think you're right, Bruce. Stick 8 dudes in the box, forget it. But also, let's see some crazy zone blitzes out of that middle. You know what I mean? Like, and not only that, but put pressure, like do blitzing mostly on one side, and then have like, I can't explain it, but like, if you got like this here, like this, boop, boop, you blitz here, and then these guys are all kind of covered like this. You know what I'm saying? So it looks one way, and then after the snap, it turns into this. So that zone moves, and then like one whole side of the offensive line is just getting crushed because you're blitzing on one side. And then Jimmy Garoppolo's got to get off his spot and try to throw on the run, and we know he can't throw on the run. Like, if you collapse one side of the pocket and then force him to the other side and have the other guy zone there, I think that's a great way to go. The problem is, I don't think, like, have you ever seen Jair Alexander ever move? This last game was the first time we saw him move from his cornerback spot, right cornerback or whatever he played, left, whatever it is. He's always in the same spot. He finally was playing some slot, which did not look good, by the way. And I don't know if he can handle Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's a little bit bigger body, and he's a little bit tougher. So I don't know. I just think I think we should put 8 in the box and then show 8 in the box and then maybe jump out of it sometimes. And I think that's the key. There's one guy. Yeah, Deebo Samuel's the main guy, of course, George Kittle. Here's the guy I want everybody to take a look at. This is a guy I think could possibly be the biggest problem if he gets snaps, okay, from what I was watching. Number 23, running back Hasty, okay? Number 23, he's got long hair. That dude is quick and fast, and he's got really good cutting. Like, he looks like a stud muffin. Like, I mean, seriously, if he was getting every carry, he'd have like 200 yards a game. Like, I'm not even lying. And when he's in the game, look out for 23. He is really, really good. His hands are terrible. He's not a threat in the receiving game, because they did like a pitch or like a pitch play, and he couldn't even catch the pitch. He like dropped it in like a big loss, or whatever, against the Eagles. But there are a couple of runs he had against the Eagles where I was like, oh, there's nothing there. And then all of a sudden he's like, boom, gone, 12-yard run. And I was like, whoa. And then there's another one. There actually was a big hole, and he was just gone, super speed. I was like, whoa. 23, Hasty, could be a problem. And the Packers need to know this and make sure somebody's watching that dude at all times. Okay, I don't know, guys, what you think about all that.
Well, Zero brings up in the chat here, wondering if he's worried about Kittle this game. And the Packers have struggled against tight ends many times over the last several years. So he's wondering if we should try to double Kittle or bracket him or try to keep him out from getting too far. Now, Garoppolo is better thrown over the middle than he is to the outside as well. So I don't know. I mean, doubling Kittle might be the number one thing to do to try to stop the passing game.
If Bruce, like if we put 8 in the box, we're covering the middle. I mean, that's almost like double teaming. If Kittle's in the middle of the field, double teaming the middle of the field.
Well, you could play man on the outside and zone in the middle, right?
Well, I think they should play 3 deep zone on the outside and just inside zone in the middle, and then blitz out of the middle and cloud that middle up.
Well, and Barry's his own guy anyway, right? Isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but who knows what they're going to do? But I mean, what it'll do is it'll take away the middle of the field for Jimmy Garoppolo, right? And force him to throw to the outside. And the other thing that, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, because I've been watching the tape and stuff, right, of these other games. When was the last time you saw a Packer bat a ball down at the line of scrimmage? Like a defensive lineman who gets his hands, like, okay, you don't get to the quarterback, but you stick your hand up and you bat the ball down. Like, I can't even remember anybody doing that for like 2 years.
Lowry, the last time.
Dean Lowry, okay, maybe Dean Lowry does.
But it was
right?
probably early last season, though. I mean,
But I mean, like, these guys are not paying attention to the ball at all on the defensive line. It's one thing if you can't get there, fine. But at least keep your eyes on the quarterback and know when he's throwing the ball and get your freaking hands up. That, like, at least try to knock the ball down, because that's a pass defense. That's just as good as a tackle. That's a tackle at the line of scrimmage. It's pretty much what it is. It's perfect. It's better than a sack sometimes. Well, not really, but it's pretty close. And if you can't get it, I just was thinking about it because I'm watching these tapes and I'm like, oh, there's Joey Bosa knock the ball down. That's pretty good. How many times do you see T.J. Watt knock a ball down? J.J. Watt knock balls down. You know what I mean? When was that? Has Zadarius Smith ever had a pass defense at the line of scrimmage? Ever? No, because he's not looking for it. I think a couple times I've seen Preston put his hand up. Maybe he missed it a couple times. He might have maybe knocked one down, Preston Smith. But Gary needs to start doing that. He's not aware either. He's kind of got Zadarius Smith syndrome. He's a little bit better, but not much. And that's something I want to see out of these defensive linemen and the outside linebackers. Like, get your hands up. Who gives a crap? You're getting your butt kicked. Fine. At least do something.
That is what you're taught. If you, even in, I don't know, when you start playing football, when you're young, in high school, all that stuff, if you can't get to the quarterback, if you can't win your rush, get your hands up. Get your hands up. And if you're paying attention, so a lot of times, sometimes you get double teamed. Okay. So you're trying to fight the double team, but be aware, look at the quarterback's eyes, look at his motion, and at least stick your hands up. You might tip it. I mean, it's a huge play. It's a huge play. It kills it right away. It's awesome.
Velaz has got a question. Do we have anybody who could even cover Kittle? That's what he's asking about.
We don't want to,
or maybe he's asking about 23. But 23 is not really he's not a threat in the receiving game. He's more of a running. But I think he's talking about Kittle. Do we have somebody who cover him one-on-one?
Ty Summers probably could cover him.
Ty Summers isn't on the field, okay? He doesn't get on the field. So you can't say, I know you love Ty Summers. I used to like Ty Summers. I did not like his preseason. So I don't know what happened to him.
This year was terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So I'm not going to call for him anymore. Like last year I called for him because I was comparing him to Kirksey and a rookie in Barnes and Owen Burks and Kamal Martin. Yeah, he's way better than all those guys. But this preseason this year was not as good. So I don't know. I don't know if Campbell can cover him. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. What do you think, Bruce? I don't know.
No, I agree. I don't think there's really anybody that can consistently cover him anyway. I think that's probably why, like you said, we need to switch up coverages and try to confuse Garoppolo a little bit and obviously get some pressure with some blitzes up the middle and, whatever it may be to get him off his spot. So we can, kind of hopefully hold Kittle down a little bit. Maybe we do double him, but, I don't know, doubling a tight end, I don't know. Good, but nobody can cover him. No, I don't think so. Consistent.
I think Deebo Samuel is the guy that Garoppolo looks for. At least from the first two games. That was the guy who's getting all the balls thrown his way. Like that first, I think it was out of the Lions game or the Eagles game, one of them, like Kittle didn't even see a ball until the end of the second quarter. Like he didn't even get a pass thrown to him. Now he's blocking and doing awesome stuff that way. But, Garoppolo is looking at Deebo Samuel like all the dang time. And like there's only one play, like fourth down, he threw to Brandon Ayuk, who was the guy that the Packers wanted last year. He wasn't getting any targets either. It was like Deebo Samuel, Deebo Samuel, Deebo Samuel, Deebo Samuel, Deebo Samuel, run, Deebo Samuel, run, Deebo Samuel. That's pretty much what the whole freaking offense was for them. So I think they got to look out at Deebo Samuel first, and I think maybe just if Kittle beats him on something, then maybe adjust and then worry about Kittle. But Kittle doesn't look as fast this year as he has in the past. Like it takes him a little bit longer to get going once he catches it.
Maybe it's the injuries.
Yeah, I think so. He's been hurt the last couple of years, and it's showing, that he's not quite the same guy he used to be. He still shoves dudes away and, does all that crazy stuff. Like if a D-back comes over, there's a play against the Lions where a guy came and just shoved his butt out of the way and ran for another 10 yards. It was awesome. He does that kind of stuff. I wish Tunyon would do that, but I don't know if Tunyon's got that same demeanor, but.
Blaz is stoking the fire here. He says Stokes could play Deebo.
Stokes might be.
I think he's too shifty for him, to be honest. I think Stokes is not that good at changing direction. He's kind of fast, but
I see what Blaz is saying. Shifty. I mean, I see it. I understand why he would bring that up. but I don't know. I mean, I think Kittle's too good a route runner, and he would do some things to expose Stokes. I mean, I think he would. So,
Well,
I mean, bottom line, they gotta find a way to take away the easy plays to Kittle and the damaging plays to Kittle up the middle. And Garoppolo wants to throw over the middle because it's an easier throw.
the thing I noticed from watching the film is when a ball gets completed for the 49ers, it's usually in the middle of the field, downfield. Okay. And the other thing is they like to attack the edges behind the line of scrimmage. Right? So I think the Packers, what they need to do is zone coverage in the middle, or like clog the middle with zone coverage. And if the ball gets thrown to the outside, everybody needs to rush to the ball. Like they got to have their eyes on the ball. I don't think they should be playing any man in this game, which sounds weird, but I think that's the best option. And then also they need to blitz the linebackers every now and again to screw up the run or to get pressure on Garoppolo. But they keep the middle clogged, keep your eyes on the ball, and be smart. And then blitz every now and again. That's the key. Will they do it? Who the heck knows? I don't know.
Rick says it's a sad state of the defense where they need to double almost everybody. But yeah, it's a little scary.
Yeah. And Balaz says just outscore them, and that's the best defense.
There you go.
Yep. You got it, Balaz.
Possess
stuff.
the ball, all that stuff. With all those high picks on the defense and high price free agents, we still have to double everybody. That's pretty sad.
All right, I want to get into the 49ers
Get into
defense. I watched these two games. I'm going to tell you a couple things about the 49ers defense. I believe, this is my honest opinion, you could call pass interference on any one, at least one, if not more, multiple, secondary players for the 49ers on every single play. I was honestly shocked in the Eagles game. There were 4 times where Jalen Hurts threw a deep ball to a receiver who was covered and or double covered. And the 49ers just like grabbing them and yanking them, and then the guy can't jump up and catch it. No, he wasn't open. So it was like kind of Jalen Hurts ran around and then just threw it as far as he could. But not one time, it was like 4 times that happened. Not once was it pass interference. Not once. They called Josh Norman twice for pass interference in the Lions game, I think it was. Because now Josh Norman is on the 49ers. He's taken over the Richard Sherman role as the veteran who beats the crap out of you, I guess. So, but just watching the game, I was like, wow. Like these guys, they hold the whole time. It's like watching Tampa Bay again. Except they don't have talent. And they're getting away with it. So what that tells me is the Packers receivers need to be tough this game. No more of this Alan Lazard barely running. Like you're a 6'5", 220-pound dude. Run through these dudes and catch the damn ball. Come back for the ball, catch it. You're bigger than them. You're stronger than them. They're going to grab you and they're going to hold you and they're not going to get called for it. So we can't let it happen like it did in the NFC Championship game where the guy grabs him, holds him, jumps off, intercepts the ball. That cannot happen. If the ball's in the air and the guy's grabbing you, you need to try to get away and knock the ball down and or catch it, and then maybe you'll get a PI called for you. MVS needs to do what he did in the NFC Championship game and fight through that and make the big catch downfield. And I think actually Randall Cobb might be the secret weapon in this game because we know he can get off press coverage and do some crazy stuff, and maybe Rodgers might be looking to him a little bit more. The other thing, real quick, Jaquiski Tart is the cheapest little mofo I've ever seen in my freaking life. The guy is late hits all the time. He's grabbing dudes all the time. He's shoving dudes all the time. He's their deep safety. He had a personal foul in both the Lions game and the Eagles game. His personal foul against the Lions was the one that knocked out. It was a hit on a defenseless receiver. It knocked out their number 1 receiver, and that's why he didn't play in the game against the Packers. And his personal foul against the Eagles was a hit on Jalen Hurts after Jalen Hurts ran really far, and he stepped out of bounds, and then Tart hit him anyways after he was out of bounds. So this Jaquiski Tart guy is a little cheap mother effer, and he just goes out there, tries to smack dudes all the time, which is, I mean, if he was on my team, I'd probably love him, to be honest. But he's not on my team, so therefore he's a cheap son of a gun. And not only that, one more thing on personal fouls. Fred Warner grabbed the dude, a running back, by the face mask, ripped him down, no call. So guess what? Aaron Jones is probably going to get at least 3 face masks in this game, and they aren't going to get called because Fred Warner gets away with it, apparently. So what do you guys think about the secondary of the 49ers being cheap sons of guns who grab and hold and hit you late and do a bunch of cheap crap. Because I'm telling you, we got to get ready for this because that's how they play. They're not talented, but they're cheap sons of guns.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know a lot about the 49ers backfield. So, but I will tell you this: if LaFleur is watching the tape, he should be in the ref's ear. I
Yeah.
mean, completely in their ears before the game and talking about this type of stuff and saying, you know, watch the targeting, you know, make sure that you're watching the holding and, you know, and the face masks and all that type of stuff. So, I mean, hopefully if he gets in their ear enough, then maybe they'll call a few of those. But I do tend to agree from what I've seen in the 49ers in the past. I think they're more of a physical, you know, backfield. They were kind of physical when we played them in the NFC title game a couple of years ago, in the backfield as well. I mean, Sherman was there, right? I believe, as well. And they're very physical. And I will say, I mean, let's be honest, the Packers receivers are not physical. And when they play a defensive backfield that is physical with them, they tend to struggle because they can't get off the ball and they tend to not be able to get open. And when you have wide receivers that are a fifth round pick, undrafted free agent, and then you only have Adams who's a second round pick. Well, that's what you're going to deal with. Now Cobb obviously is he's okay, but he's old and he's not going to get separation all the time. But he's savvy enough, like you say, Ben, where he's going to get his few catches and hopefully they'll be big ones. But I think that's going to be part of the problem with the Packers receivers this week is they have to be able to get off the ball and they have to be able to get open because they're probably going to be physical with them at the line of scrimmage. So.
Bruce, coming on, you said you had some notes on Packer receivers since you just talked about them. You got anything else you wanted to bring up about?
Well, that's what I wanted to bring up actually was they're continuing to show Lazard is invisible, which I knew this was going to happen. I really did. I knew that eventually in his third or fourth year, he wasn't going to take any more steps and people were going to be all excited about the guy. And yes, he can do some things, but when you get some stuff like that on tape, defenses are going to react and they're going to fix it. And Lazard is not good enough to be able to continue to do the same things that he did last year and the year before. So I can completely see Lazard having not a great year and him being off this team in a year or two. I can completely see that. Again, he's an undrafted free agent. Yeah, he's 6'5", he's big, he can block, and he's the goon, supposedly, that LaFleur likes to call him. But
except he missed a block, a key
right.
block on a Devontae Adams pass early in the game against the Lions. Like, he just looked at the guy and just kind of didn't even block him. Then Devontae got creamed on the play. And I'm like, dude, that's a wide receiver screen. Get your butt over there and block him.
Well, and that's a good point.
Can't do that.
If he can't block, then he can't really do a whole lot, in my opinion. Now,
no, like that's his main job.
Yeah, and he was open on the Tunyon touchdown, and obviously Rodgers should have thrown it to him. Okay, but that's mainly probably because he was schemed open. I mean, it wasn't that Lazard was just open because he ran a good route, probably. So I mean, that's my concern there, and then you've got obviously. I mean, MVS can get open at times, but my concern with MVS, and you guys have said this in the past, it's great that he can go long and he can get open long, but he can't get open consistently in short routes and middle routes. I mean, routes. He can't get open consistently in those areas, and he's proven that that's the case. And that's why, again, he disappears at times. If Rodgers can't hit him deep, he disappears, and that's my concern with him as well. Even though we need to keep him right now because he causes issues, and spreads out that defense when he goes deep. But who else do you have? I mean, you have Adams, and that's all you have. And I'm telling you, when you play good defenses, they shut us down. Besides Adams, they shut all our other receivers down. I will say MVS played well in the NFC title game. He stepped up a little bit, but I just don't see that happening consistently, and I don't see it being consistently with Lazard or any of those other wide receivers. And that's what I wanted to bring up as we're kind of right back to where we were again, where unless you start drafting wide receivers in those top 2 rounds more consistently, you're going to struggle eventually. You're just going to, especially if Adams goes away. We're gonna have some issues. And Amari Rodgers, I don't know who the heck knows with that guy right now. But that was my point, is we're continuing to struggle with wide receivers. So
Malik Taylor, maybe he needs to get out there. He seems to always catch everything. I like him. I'm starting to like Malik Taylor more than Allen Lazard. It just seems like Lazard every game has got a missed block.
He's missing a lot of blocks,
or a brain fart, or a something. Yeah. He does something like it's not good. I mean, I got to be honest. Like, for a guy who's supposed to be this big tough guy, or I don't know. He's not the toughest guy. And I like him as a person. I think Allen Lazard is awesome, but I'm starting to question whether it would be beneficial to put Malik Taylor in his spot at this point. And that's just what I would say. And the other thing too, Devontae Adams never blocks anybody. Not a one time I've ever seen him block on a running play, right? Like, he's just
juking to draw attention, and that's
like
kind of
the play where like Robert Tonyan screen passes and stuff. And why is Devontae the wide receiver who runs over the middle on that play? Because he doesn't block anyone. Like, I would at least set MVS. MVS will get in front of somebody. I'll say this about MVS: for a guy who never gets any freaking balls, he blocks all the time. Sometimes he misses, but he goes hard to block. Where Lazard sometimes doesn't go hard to block, which I don't know why. But MVS always goes hard to block. Sometimes he misses, but he does try. And he'll block downfield if he sees a guy coming his way, and he's like, ooh, yeah, we're going to get a big play here. I'm going to block best I can, blah, blah, blah.
It is kind of weird about Lazard because he is so big, and you just expect him to play to his size, but he doesn't play as big as he is. It's weird. He doesn't play like a 6'5" receiver a lot of times. Yeah. But he also doesn't play like a guy that's 6'5", almost 220. He should be physical. He should be able to blow D-backs out. He should be able to handle safeties. He should be able to, contend with linebackers.
Yeah, and like the other thing is, like, watching all these games where you see, like, guys will throw up contested ball. Like, these guys that are 6'5", like Tom Brady, he'll just throw a ball up to like Mike Evans. Mike Evans just jumps up, and the DB's, he's 4 inches shorter than him. He just grubs up, grabs the ball, catches it. Allen Lazard should be able to do that. There should be at least a couple times a game where, they should put Lazard over one-on-one by himself. And he should just go up, turn around, throw it up high. He just jumps up and grabs it. Like, he's bigger than everybody. Like, let's do that. But I don't think he's got the hands or even like the athletic ability to go do that sort of thing.
Well, I think that's why he was an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, it's obvious.
He doesn't have the hops. He doesn't have the speed. And all he was a big receiver. And, hopefully we were going to develop into something. Now, have we developed him into something that, at least has given us a little bit of, options? Yeah. I mean, I think they developed him as well as they could have, but eventually nothing's going to continue. He's going to be what he is. And I think that's what you're seeing right now is he is what he is. And defenses are, obviously being able to adjust and know what he can do so they can take care of him. And then he disappears and doesn't get open and doesn't have a lot of catches. So
the other thing I don't like about the Packers, and I don't want to make this a big complaint fest here, and it has something to do with the receivers, but it has something to do with a lot of things. Watching the Lions-Packer game, and you looked at the sidelines, and you saw Deuce Staley, you saw Aaron Glenn, you saw Mark Brunell, you saw Dan Campbell. There's another guy who was defensive backs coach or something. All these guys were players, and they were fairly good players. They weren't like scrubs. They were good players. Now, I don't think a staff should have every guy be a former player on it like the Lions have. But the Packers have like 0 studs. They use, like, I guess Mike Smith maybe, but he goes and like tries to headbutt a guy who's got a helmet on after he makes a big play. That wasn't the smartest move ever. But anyways, Jason Vrabel, who is Mike Vrabel's little brother, is the Packers wide receiver coach. Now, maybe he played wide receiver in college or high school. I have no idea. But I would rather have anybody that at least played receiver and can teach a couple techniques or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is Jason Vrabel a wide receivers coach? And the other thing, you've got like Jerry Gray is the secondary is always confused and screwed up. Like, he's not a good coach. I'm kind of sick of Jerry Gray too. Like, can we get a deep, like, you know what? Everybody go and find Leroy Butler's X's and O's. I watched it again the last 2 weeks. He's back doing it again. Well, he wasn't doing it this week, but last week's he showed 2 plays in the game against the first game. I can't remember who they played. They got creamed by whatever. Anyways, Saints. The 2 games get the Saints. He showed 2 plays where one play where Savage screwed up and another play where Amos screwed up. And if I was the Packers and I saw this Leroy Butler's X's and O's, I would hire Leroy Butler tomorrow or today. I would hire him yesterday to come and coach my safeties. Jerry Gray can have the corners, fine. Leroy Butler can coach my damn safeties any day. He's and I know he kind of talks goofy and he's not really like the most, like you've seen his interviews with him, he's kind of crazy and stuff. But he knows what he's talking about. Watch Leroy Butler's X's and O's if you can find it. It's on YouTube. There's only got like 200 views for some dumb reason. I don't know why. It's great. Leroy goes into a bunch of stuff as to why Savage is screwed up, and then there's a touchdown. Why Amos screwed up, and there was a touchdown. And he's like, this is what you got to do in that situation. Well, Leroy knows it. He lives in freaking Appleton or whatever. Hire his ass. Get him into Green Bay. Have him coach the gosh dang freaking safeties, for God's sake. He'll do it. What's he doing? He ain't doing anything. If he can talk to Tom Silverstein twice a week on YouTube, he can certainly go and talk to the Packers secondary every now and again. The guy's in town, and he's good, and he's smart. But instead, we got all these guys who never played, and they don't know what the hell they're doing, or they did play, but they sucked. And Mike Vrabel is a wide receiver coach? Who the heck is Mike Vrabel? Or whatever, Jason Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, I know Mike Vrabel's the head coach of the Titans. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, back to you.
Yeah, it's that I took note of that too, and I was like, man, look at all those former players on their coaching staff. But that means something. And those guys, I mean, yeah, football is a little different then, but they're not that far removed from the game, and they have a different perspective than guys who've never played at the NFL level that are trying to coach these guys. It's different, and you should have some of them on there. And I don't know how good of a player. I do not think Adam Stenovich was that great of a player, but he's coaching all our offensive line guys and supposed to make them good. I don't know.
We know James Campen was a good Packer for a long time. Yeah. And he was a great coach for a long time. And now he's a coach for the Browns, and how good are they on offensive line? Like the best offensive line in the league.
They're super good, yeah.
Maybe James Campen should have never let him go. I don't know.
Yep.
One more thing about the 49ers defense here real quick. I noticed this. When they played man coverage, a lot of times they would leave it open for the quarterback to run. So Rodgers, if he can read that it's man, I think he should just either check down the running back right away or just run. Just go get a first down because they do not pay attention to the quarterback at all. They're worried about their man coverage. And there's even Jared Goff could run on him, which we know he ran on the Packers too, obviously. But whatever. He's running on the Eagles too. Or he's running on the whatever. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Jalen Hurts is running all over him. That's fine. The other thing is when they play zone, though, they're always looking at the quarterback. The whole team just moves with the ball. So play action. Got to do play action. Got to do movement. A lot of movement. Make this, if they're playing zone, if you read it's a zone, hopefully they got movement involved so that those guys are adjusting and looking, and they gotta fool the 49ers into thinking something's going on over here when really it's going on over here, which is what the Packers did great against the Lions. They got Aaron Jones the ball in space, and Robert Tonyan, that first screen pass to Robert Tonyan, if you watch Larry McCarron, he's got a breakdown of it on the Packers, and he showed how Rodgers is looking over to Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is looking back for the ball, and then all of a sudden Rodgers is like, psych, dumps it over here to Robert Tonyan for a screen pass, and all the Lions were like over to Aaron Jones because they saw that, and then they're like, oh, crap, and then they're all trying to get back over. And if Devontae would just block somebody, Robert Tonyan would have had like 40 yards, but Devontae doesn't block anybody. But anyways, I'm blabbing on about that. But that's the one thing I would say. If Rodgers can, and it's pretty easy. Like I'm watching the film, and I'm like, wow, they're in zone. Like they just play this quarter zone or trip zone with 4 guys zone in the middle, and you can watch them. They just stand there. And when they play man, they're more up in your face. They play man, tight man, and then they go back and they just run with everybody. But they're not at all looking at the quarterback. So Rodgers should be able to read this stuff ahead of time and get the ball out quick, or just run. Just go ahead and run, Rodgers. Go back in time 10 years and just start scrambling. You'll get 5-6 yards every time because they are not looking for you. And if you don't do that, you're going to get sacked because that offensive line can't stick with you. So just get out of the pocket. If there's nobody there, if they're playing man, he should almost have a rolling pocket every time. If he reads it's man, roll out. Roll out every time. Get the crap out of there. Don't let those guys cream you. Because in man coverage, your receivers aren't going to get open right away. So move over, get out of the pocket, give yourself some space. If nobody's open, run for 5-6 yards, slide, boom, perfect, good. What do you think of that? Go.
I think he isn't as fast. I mean, some guys are like, oh yeah, he still has speed. I mean, I don't think he's quite as fast. I don't think he wants to take the hits. So if it's clear he should be decisive. He has to be decisive. He has to understand, especially in this game, I can't trust my offensive line. I need to be quick, make quick decisions, and either getting the ball out or I'm taking off. And the only interesting thing I'm curious to see in this game is, are the 49ers going to adjust and do what a bunch of other teams have done, which is play a bunch of cover 2, which they don't do that much of normally, but are they going to adjust and try some cover 2 because everybody else has done it against the Packers and it has slowed them down at times?
I have an answer for that. If they do, from watching the Lions game against the 49ers, you know what you do? And I know the Packers don't like doing this. You double team, run up the gut. Double team, run up the gut. Because I'll tell you right now, Fred Warner might be fast and he kind of gets around all over the place. He does not get off the block that great. If you get to the second level and get on Fred Warner, he does not get off the block. Now, if he avoids your guy, you're in trouble. But if you can get a guy on him, he kind of just plays patty cake. He's almost a Zadarius Smith on some running plays. I hate to say it, but everybody says Fred Warner's so good. From watching the tape, there are Lions guys, and I know Lions offensive line is better than Packers offensive line, but still, there's some Lions guys who got on Fred Warner, and Fred Warner was out of the play. And it was Jamal Williams running for 9 yards. And I'm like, whoa, what happened here? Right up the gut. Right up the gut. Right up the gut. Take Joey Bosa, because Joey Bosa, I hate to say it, he's got that pass rusher mindset. He likes to go around. He likes to go around to get to the quarterback. Use that against him. Let him go. Give him a shove, and then move to the second level and take on a linebacker if you're Billy Turner. I mean, you can't block him for that long anyways. Go ahead. Let him go. And then run it right up the gut. If you know it's a running play, let him go to the outside. Give it to him. And run up the gut, and then get to the second level and get on a guy. That's how you attack the 49ers if they play a cover 2. Because then Cheapy Jaguasti Tart or whatever, he's 10 yards back, and he's not even in the play. And by the time he comes up, guess what? Aaron Jones is already in your face. A.J. Dillon's in your face. These are things. I should be the Packers' freaking gosh dang offensive coordinator. And you know what? I should be their defense coordinator too. Because we would win. We would win this game. No problem.
People in the chat commenting on your haircut, Ben. Rick says he likes it. Blas likes it. Bruce,
Well,
one
it looks
thing.
terrible. I've had a lot of people at work. They come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you got another haircut. Looks nice." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't." I did it because I just want to not have hair in my face. I know it looks terrible. I know I got a giant forehead and a receding hairline, and I don't give a crap.
But you do have hair in your face. You gotta shave.
Yeah, I got it. Yes,
Hey there.
and that's completely white. But then the other day, some guy came around. He's like, "Who's the new guy?" And then he's like, "Oh, it's Ben." Oh, and I was like, "Yeah." So there you go. Yeah, my hair sucks. My boss came up to me today, and she was like, "Ben, your hair looks so nice. I like your new haircut." And I'm like, "It looks terrible. Don't lie to me." And she just laughed at me.
All right. Well, these guys like it. High, even Double Doink likes it. High and tight. That's fine. A little higher than it used to be, but that's okay. Bruce, so one point of emphasis the Packers made last week was getting, and they talked about this, and you were talking for a while before. You guys were talking about the other receivers, talking about Lazard, talking about MBS, blah, blah, blah. And they said, look, we got to get the ball to our playmakers. And that was why they got the ball to Jones so much, and then targeted Devontae so much, and then Tunyon gets a little bit. So do you like that approach? Do you like say like, okay, these are our guys. We want to get the ball to them. We're designing plays for them. And, even if the defense is trying to take them away, we're going to create plays to get it to those guys to set the tone, and then we'll work in the other guys later, if we need to.
No, I think you have to get those 3 guys involved. I mean, again, the offense runs through Jones. I mean, it does. I'm sorry, it just does. But Tunyon, if you get Tunyon involved, I think, like Ben said, he's got some energy. It's just everybody likes to see Kenyon catch balls. I mean, come on, we do. It's just fun to see him catch balls. It's fun to see him do screens. I mean, I thought it was great last week. We did a couple of screens with him. I thought that those worked great. I think you have to utilize them, and you have to run the football, and you have to throw short and quick passes, especially when defenses are playing cover two. You mentioned it earlier, and I think we're going to see a lot of cover two all year. I really, really think that's going to be the case, unless it's, some of these teams that are so not very good. They might not do it. But I think the good teams and the good defensive coordinators are going to try to adjust, and they're going to play cover two, and they're going to make us, go down the field, long drives, short, quick passes, and then try to run the football. And that's what you got to do. But you know what? I think that's playing to the Packers' strengths anyway, because we do that better, and our offense is better when we run the football, when we throw quick, short passes, and Rodgers is on time. And then we go deep at certain times once those safeties start to creep up, when we run the ball better and, are throwing short and things like that, then you go over the top. That's the way it should be with the Packers. I mean, they play better offensively when they do that. So yes, absolutely.
And it helps your sketchy offensive line. So, yep, agreed. Okay, it's final score time. Put your final scores in your score prediction because everybody loves to predict scores except me. Put them in the chat, and we're going to go to Ben first for final score, or should we put Bruce on the spot to set the tone? All right, Ben first.
Hey, here's the scoop. Based on watching the video.
Yep.
Now, and I know the Packers defense is bad, right? We know that. But I'm telling you, this 49ers offense, and Chris Sims talking about how great the 49ers are and how they're so great and blah, blah. I'm telling you, man, I think the middle of the defense for the 49ers is soft. The secondary are a bunch of cheap sons of guns. And Joey Bosa and who's the other? They got 55 Ford. They just like to rush the quarterback. It's like Zadarius Smith syndrome. I think we smack him in the face. I think Matt LaFleur finally sees what's going on here and says, you know what? We try to trickeration them. We try to spread them out and try to no. Enough of that. We're going right at these guys, right up the gut, smacking them. And then on the second, and then the defense, just get Jimmy Garoppolo off his spot and cover the run. Just put 8 guys in the box, like Bruce said earlier. And I got to be honest, I don't think the 49ers really are that good. And I think it's going to be a win, and the Packers are going to cream the crap out of them. I think it's going to be 35-14. I think it's going to be a freaking landslide, smack them upside the head, blowout. And the 49ers aren't even going to see, they don't even know what's happened to them. And then and once we get the big lead, then Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be scared and try to throw. If you take the 49ers out of the running game, it's over. I think the Packers need to receive the ball right away. If they win the toss, take the ball. Go score. Then go score again right away. The 49ers had 4 punts at the start of the Eagles game. Now, I know the Eagles defense is better than the Packers. But I'm telling you, if they do that crap against the Packers, have to punt that many times, it's over. 35-14, Packers kick the snot out of them.
Man, nice.
Or we could lose. I don't know.
In the chat, we got Zero thinks he thought it was going to be a really high scoring game. 48-45 Packers. That would be fun and cool. Rick thinks Packers steal it in a close game too, 27-24. Double Doink says 31-24 Packers. And Balaz says he doesn't think LaFleur will adjust enough, and they lose 27-23. 49ers win.
Oh, Balaz.
Which could happen. He's that like, hurts. But he loves your optimism, Ben. So, Rick has to say AR is auditioning for his new team. He'll look sharp. We'll see, maybe.
49ers got nothing to trade us. What are we going to get? They gave up all their first-round picks. We don't want anything from them.
Oh, Josh is here. Hey, Josh, how you doing? He thinks Packers eke it out 24-21. So everybody thinks it's a pretty tight game. And most people thinking the Packers win by a Mason Crosby field goal. Bruce, what about you? Not Ben, though.
Well, I don't want to be negative,
Got it. Say what you think. It's okay.
I'm leaning toward the Packers losing because LaFleur's record on the West Coast is not good. He doesn't seem to prepare his teams when we have to travel that far. However, because we're all Packer fans and because I want to be positive and have some optimism, I am going to say Packers are going to win 31-28. I think our defense is still going to give up some points because our defense is our defense. But I think we're going to, really run the ball well with Jonesy. And I think we're going to have a double-headed monster on Sunday with both Dillon and Jonesy. And then, Adams will do his thing. Tunyon will catch a touchdown and Aaron will be fine. And the offensive line will play a little better than they did last week, even without Jenkins, I predict. So 31-28 back.
Okay, man. I hope so. I think Robert Tunyon has a big game, and the running game does too. I think Tunyon catches a couple of touchdowns off of play action. And I do think Aaron Rodgers looks sharp. I think having the game at night helps the Packers for their West Coast trip versus playing an earlier game on the West Coast. And I think Yashi plays pretty well. So I'm going to say Packers 27, 49ers 20. Because they're not going to score too many touchdowns. So
35-14, romping Packers dominate.
Let's hope.
Call it here.
I like that score better.
Let's hope.
That's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Let's hope. Anyway, game.
Hey, if I was calling the plays, it'd be 35-14.
Well, there you go. But you're not, so.
Oh, well, then it's probably going to be, they're going to lose 28 to.
No, it's just going to be a close one.
Oh, okay. 35-14.
Who, Zero thinks that MVS going to have a monster game this week. I don't know. We'll see. He could.
I think MVS is going to have a monster game this week. I agree.
I hope so. As long as he attacking down the middle, that would be sweet.
And MVS. Well, all I know is if Josh Norman's on him, he's going to get a lot of. I'll say this: if a pass interference is good, that's just as good. I'm going to call that as a monster game. And I got a feeling MVS is going to get a couple pass interferences called for him because these 49ers cannot let go of receivers downfield. That's all I'm going to say. And it's one thing when it's Jalen Hurts and Jared Goff throwing the ball down there. When it's Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball down there, you may get a couple extra flags that we should be getting. Don't get me wrong. But we'll get a call because we got Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball and not Goff or Jalen Hurts, who are just, scrubs, right? So just saying, we might actually get the calls if the 49ers are handsy in this game. And if you ask me, a PI, that's a catch. Robert Tunyon's PI that he had, that was huge. That kept the drive alive. That PI on third down that they got called for Devontae Adams in the end zone. They got the ball at the 1 yard line. That helped the Pack against the Lions. PIs are just as good as catches. So, hey.
Yeah. It's good when they actually call them, though, and they probably should call more of them. But, yeah. The only way you stop the guys from doing it is if you start calling them early in the game. Then they'll back off and quit doing all their grabby stuff. Bruce, you got anything else before we go? Any parting thoughts?
I don't think so. I think just got to get it done. I mean, we haven't beaten the 49ers in a while. Let's get it done.
It's time. I mean,
we beat them last year, but they were like half a team.
Yeah.
Not at San Fran, though, right?
It was there, but there were no
nobody.
Fans. Yeah, no
it was
fans.
Thursday night. They had like half the guys were on COVID and they're hurt, and it was bad.
Yep.
They had some guy playing quarterback who couldn't even throw the ball. But I was just saying, Zero was saying that he thinks Kaepernick's going to come out of nowhere. That's not going to happen. But I forgot about Trey Lance.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. That might actually adjust my schedule, my score a little bit, because if the Packers are up big,
option,
they might bring Trey Lance in.
Oh boy,
and that could be an issue. So maybe it won't be 35-14. It might be more 35, like the 28, because they come back because Trey Lance scores 2 touchdowns in the end of the game because Packers can't stop him on defense. But the Packers still win 35-28.
All right. Everybody except Balaz thinks Packers win. All right, let's go with that. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your time during the day, resting for the big game Sunday night. Packers. Bruce, thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for your thoughts.
Bruce.
Appreciate it.
Bruce and Bros.
All right. Bruce, take care of yourself. Everybody else, be good. Stay well. We'll